Okay, this PowerPoint supports Level 2 Business Studies Introduction to Organisations. In this PowerPoint, we are going to understand what is an organisation and explain how these organisations are structured. So really, first and foremost, organisation is always key to remember that what an organisation is. It's just a group of people. Okay, it's a group of people with a common goal, always striving to achieve something or other. Okay. Now, the type of groups of people that we have in society that will be considered an organisation can obviously focus on businesses, it could be religions, it could be government, it could be clubs, societies, it could even be a family. There's lots of different ways in which we organise ourselves in groups in society, and to an extent they're all regarded as an organisation. What they all tend to share is some sort of structures in terms of there would always be some form of hierarchy, and you could tend to argue that there'll be some type of goal or objective that it's striving to achieve. So within an organisation, it's important to remember that each organisation has a distinct purpose, okay, and they set aside this through objectives, and those objectives are met through making policies and rules to help achieve that goal. And also as well, it allows everyone to, within the organisation, to understand what the purpose is and how the purpose is going to be achieved. So looking at the following organisations, these are examples of. So as a religious congregation in a mosque, that is an example of an organisation. Onslow Football Club, the Army, Vodafone, Ministry of Education, and Oxfam. They're all different and very distinct forms of organisation. So they all have distinct purpose. So they all have a distinct number of people involved. They all have very different rules and policies that they use, that should be. And they have very clear ways in which they measure their success. So when you're talking about organisations, it's not always driven by money and profit levels. So for example, the mosque would not be interested in the amount of profit that it makes, probably more interested in the number of people in their congregation. Likewise, the Oxfam isn't profit driven. The New Zealand Army isn't profit driven. You may argue, however, on contrast, Vodafone has to satisfy dividends and the profit levels for its shareholders, so therefore they may be profit driven as a way of measuring their success. Okay, now all business organisations do have a common purpose to make some form of revenue and some form of profit. Okay, this is important to remember because essentially, if they do not make revenue, don't make profit, they will be seen as being unsustainable, and therefore, unless they have a limitless money, which is unlikely, it would be a bit of a waste of money and a waste of time, and therefore they could go bankrupt. In fact, they would go bankrupt. So what a lot of business organisations do, they always have some form of revenue goal or profit goal because this ensures their existence into the future. However, this can link with other goals such as increasing customers. So if you increase customers, you're likely to make more revenue. Okay, if you increase your customers, they're coming because your reputation is good. It's good rather. And added to that, it's maybe because you are achieving a strong brand. So how do businesses actually structure themselves? So most commonly, businesses will ensure that the people who are in the business are there in the right place because they have the skills and the qualification to do that particular job in the business. Okay, so they are best suited. In this increases efficiency. If it increases efficiency, the thinking is therefore the costs to run the business will be cheaper. So this is why we see departments being set up in organisations, just exactly like we have at school. But the most common areas, common departments that you tend to see in business organisations, a department concerned with the looking after the money, the finance, human resources, the hiring and firing of staff, setting out of staff policies, sales to ensure that revenue is maintained, production to make sure that the business services are produced, and marketing to make sure that everything is communicated accurately to those to those customers and potential customers.